I've done all this. I've got my accreditations. Don't go to those people. And like, you know, when you look back on yourself and you realise how much you've grown. And I was like, what a fucking dickhead.
The ones I felt icky about following up with is I knew I didn't do a very good job on the call.
Oh, well, if I've not heard back off someone, they clearly don't want it. Well, how do you know?
They spent like 60 to 80 quid with me before, and now they've just spent £1,000 with me.
You are not in the business of dogs. You are in the business of people.
On a recent podcast episode, we covered a number of questions. I think it was actually only 2 questions that we covered in the episode.
We talk a lot.
And one of them was about following up. And although we did talk about following up, I feel like there's more that we need to say on this subject. So when we say following up, what do we mean? We mean if somebody has previously inquired, this is the most usual scenario. Someone's previously inquired in your services by however means that might be, and you have gone back to them and they haven't replied to you, or they've said, doesn't sound like it's for me, or words to that effect. We usually just go like, okay, that's fine. No problem. I'll leave you alone. I think there's two kind of angles we're going to come at with this. And we have lots of experience of doing this. And I know that if you don't have the right mindset around following up, that you may feel like it's icky and pushy and not your place to change somebody's mind. Like, that's what I think we have in our heads, don't we? It's like, well, if someone said no, it's a no. But we feel like it's our duty to explore that a little bit more and find out, because sometimes the reason isn't the initial reason that somebody gives. So if it's money, for example, which is a really common one, we feel like, oh, okay, we can't, what's the word I'm looking for? Dispute that. We can't sort of challenge that because someone said it's too expensive. So that's one reason. Could be like we're in the middle of the school holidays. We've got a lot going on with kids. We've got like a lot going on with our life. All these reasons come out and we're just like, oh, okay, we'll leave you alone. But actually, we feel that needs to be explored. It needs to be delved into a little bit more, and to figure out if that is the real reason, or whether it's we're just kind of fobbing you off or fending you off for the moment. Or it could be that somebody's just not got enough information, don't feel like they trust you enough, don't feel like they know you enough, and they just need a bit more questioning on stuff. So there's that angle. And then we also want to talk about who you've already got in your world that you're not following up with. And we're on this constant strive to get new leads in, new clients in, put all these fancy lead magnets out there, create these new things for people to sign up to, when actually we've got loads of people sat there.
I'm going to pick up on that last one first, because I think there is a thought process that occurs in trainers specifically that is, if somebody, so we're coming at this from the point of view that customer retention, client retention is the best possible business move you will ever make. If you can have a strategy that focuses on retaining your existing client base, your business is onto a winner. However, the thought process that I believe a lot of dog trainers specifically will have is, well, I must not be a very good dog trainer then if that person is staying with me.
Yeah. Or they might not believe it, but they might think other people believe that.
Yeah, I think there's a few lenses you can look at this through. And I think it's worth, for those of you listening, it's worth exploring in your brain where that path takes you when you start thinking about this. Like, do you immediately think, well, why would somebody want to stay? Like, why would I want to keep someone though? Because surely if I'm any good at my job, I'll have got the dog from, A to B or whatever it is. So therefore, job's done. Like, wash your hands, off you go. Why would I want to keep them when I've done the thing? And I kind of want to throw this question at you because your business model was very scratty, as we know. But there was an element of your business model that arguably, maybe without realising it, you were trying to go through the process of some kind of retention because you were keeping the clients that you already had. Not in a very like fluid way, but
just passing them from one thing to another.
It was just like, I'm just going to keep chucking them in different pots that I've now got a brewing. So from your perspective then, I mean, I hate this question because it's a yes or no question, but did you even consider that that's what you were doing? Like you were purposefully retaining people?
Yeah. And do you know why I kept passing them from pot to pot? Because I thought they'd get bored of doing the same thing. I thought they needed more variety. I thought they needed more. I thought they would need to be kept interested. So I needed to keep changing up what they did. It never occurred to me to just keep doing the same thing because I'd go like, well, who'd want to keep just doing the same thing? But now when I look back, I'm like, they needed to keep doing the same thing because it doesn't give them long enough to get to grips with it all and they're gone. And I just have to hope they sign up for the next thing. And to be honest, I don't think I did a very good job of following back up with people and getting them to come back to the things. I just would put a post out on, actually more emails actually. I used my mailing list more and I'd put that out and go like, here's the thing. And I think I got a bit of reinforcement from it because I usually got enough people to sign up to make it viable, just. So I kept doing it because I'd kind of pretty much fill what I put out just because of the volume of people. Because I put so many puppy classes on, it was like that funnel effect. I was like, so many of those on and then less of the follow-ons on and less of the adolescents on. And I just had a pick of people really to go like, well, I've got enough of you to just put on like one class as opposed to like 4 puppy classes, for example. And so I kind of was doing it in a really half-assed way, didn't really put much into it. And it never really again occurred to me to go, those are the people I need to prioritise. Those are the people I need to keep talking to whilst they're on their first service so that I can then seed that I've got other things that they can move on to. What I would do typically is wait till the last class and then do a little sales pitch at the end and go like, I've got this thing, and then email everybody and hope they would sign up for it. And that's it. But invariably they'd walked away from the thing they'd signed up for, done an okay job, I suppose, of attending those classes and doing a little bit of work, thinking that's enough because I'm the one that's putting out that is enough. If you want that, you have that. That's fine. Just 6 weeks is going to be enough when actually, of course, it isn't.
Yeah. This is that fundamental issue really, isn't it? Of the business models are just not fit for purpose.
They're not fit for purpose. No. And I did it for so long and didn't realise it wasn't. I did, but I didn't. I've talked about this before, I know. But yeah, that retention bit was like, if I'd have realised the importance of like that nurturing and, you know, I want you for the long term because I know you need it and I've got all these other things to offer. So regardless if it was one service continually or it was several different ones, had I realised that actually I need to put a bit of work in there to set expectation of this isn't it. Like it's not just this thing. There's other elements that you need to work on as well. And this will help with that and that will help with the other. But I just didn't know. Didn't occur to me. And it's really interesting to me because I don't know, I feel like I was always trying to think of things that would work for people and always trying to, you know, almost think outside the box a little bit for myself. But it's just a fundamental thing that I just didn't do.
Yeah, it's so indoctrinated though into you.
Yeah,
Like,
you
to all
kind of
of
go
us.
in. I think again though, because I really, and this comes back to niching and what I should have done, what I should have stayed with, really, it's that puppy bit. Because I was putting way more focus on the puppy bit and getting new people in, because that's what I needed. I needed new people constantly for the puppies, didn't I? Because it was like under 20 weeks. So my head is going new leads, new people. And then the other bit of going, oh no, I need to try and keep them now. I better put that on so it keeps people, was like an afterthought. It was almost like not a priority to me. It was just new people. So my brain, I don't think actually, now thinking about it, my brain couldn't deal with the two things.
Yeah.
And actually it shouldn't have had to, because if I'd created an awesome puppy service that was longer and provided, like, it addressed all their needs continuously, then I wouldn't have had to put the other stuff on anyway, would I?
Yeah. I think it naturally kind of grows and evolves into these different services. But it's...
And one person, one day, created a 6-week puppy class or a 6-week class, and everybody copied it.
Now this
Why?
is the universal entry level. Like, this is what you must do.
Who is that person? We need to find them.
Yeah.
Who created it?
And then you hear things like, but this is what people want.
Oh, we hear that all the time, don't we?
People are asking for
People
it.
ask for classes. People want puppy classes. People don't want anything else.
Yeah.
They don't know anything else exists, because that's all that's out there.
Do you know what the ironic thing is about that? Going off on a tangent, but wouldn't be us if it didn't. Like, I used to get asked every now and again, as I'm sure all of us have at some point in the dog training realm, do you do like protection work?
I never got asked that.
Oh, did you not?
No, never.
I had it a fair bit, and I was quite happy to go, no, I don't do that. That's not my thing. Yet for some reason, when you get asked the question of, do you do a puppy class? And I never did. My brain went, maybe I should do a puppy class. And it just, the human brain fascinates me, that we take some things and go, oh, I could do that. And then actually, no, I'm definitely
Because
not
I
doing
think
that.
with some things, it's out of your either it's out of your skill set or out of your capacity, or you just know you don't want it. So for me, it was separation anxiety. I never took separation anxiety. It didn't float my boat.
No.
To me, it's like this. Oh, no, it just
well done to those of you out there who are doing
honestly, like, fair play, but it's not for me. I feel like Duncan Bannatyne. I'm out. No, it's not for me. Sorry.
Out of all the dragons, you chose him.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm oot.
Oot. God.
Just because I was like, no, never ever going to create a service for that or do it, because I don't enjoy it.
No. But yeah, for some reason, the collective we put things on because we think this is what, and again, you can like transfer this to all businesses, I reckon, and definitely all ones within the dog realm. Like if you're a groomer and suddenly someone's using, actually I have seen this with groomers where they go like, I'm just going to add like a fragrance onto the dog at the end of it. So now I need to add that in as an additional service. So do you want your dog to smell nice at the end?
Or like buy a load of like sell them.
Yep.
So there's another line of like, hang on, create an online shop with the fragrances.
Yeah. All the stuff.
I keep hearing that recently.
Yeah. You've mentioned that you really like the harnesses that I use. Let me try and sell those. And I've said that. You did that.
I did that. Yeah. I had an array of products I used to sell.
You did. I remember walking into that village hall and seeing a shop.
I used to put like a heart and soul into my shop.
It was a proper little shop.
It was, wasn't it? I had hangy things and everything, like proper display units.
Mm-hmm.
Took me ages to set the bloody thing up.
Yeah.
I made about £2.
I was going to say it was a really crap sell at the end, because it was just like, and if anybody wants anything, then you're very welcome. It's here.
If you want it, if you don't.
Yeah, it's fine. But yeah. Where were we going with this? I just find it really fascinating that our brains go, let's just do what we think needs to be done instead of actually really thinking about the person again.
Yep.
And
what they need.
Oh, I feel like this could even go off in a tangent to go like, we keep, just because we've got event, it's like event season at the moment, isn't it? And conference season where you're learning loads of new dog knowledge stuff. And the amount of times I used to, if I put myself back in those shoes, like I'd walk away from these things and go, oh my gosh, like I need to do that thing. I need to add that in. I need to do that. And I just never knew how to do it. So I never really added it in, or you'd try and create something completely different. But again, like we're coming at it from the angle of the human, let's face it, in a majority of scenarios, isn't interested, doesn't know anything about it, so there needs to be an education piece, but without making them wrong. And we're essentially doing all of our marketing around the dog, and we're totally skipping past the human. So bringing it back to your original question of like, what the hell has all this got to do with follow-up? So depending on how you're speaking to people, depending on what your messaging is, if you are trying to follow somebody up to sell them, in inverted commas, I was like, you're not going to get it.
No.
Because you are not thinking about that person and how they want to buy potentially, or what they are actually looking for. So yes, okay, someone may have come to you and said, oh, I'm after puppy classes, I don't want one-to-one. Well, sorry, not sorry. It's your job as that professional to understand what it is they're actually after, because just because they've said puppy classes, how do you even know what that means? And again, we could put massive assumptions and generalizations on it and go, oh, okay, so people who want puppy classes want the dogs to socialize. Okay, fine. So, well, let's explore that then with the human. When you say you want the dogs to socialise, what do you mean? Oh, okay. How would you feel if we did that in a one-to-one setting where we gave you the skills and the knowledge and the expertise for you to actually, and I went with you as the expert and the professional, to put your dog in all of these situations, but if it went a little bit tits up, I'm here with you. What? That's a thing? You can do that? Yeah, doesn't have to be in a hall or in a field or whatever it is. How about some real life stuff? And again, like if they say no at that point, you're like, okay, cool, fine. It's not a problem. But what do you actually want from that puppy class?
Mm. And actually, I would say that for most people who get inquiries that say, I want socialisation, I want my dogs around other dogs, I bet there's not many of you listening here who would say, I think that's the best way of socialising. I think that's the best environment to be in to do that. I think everyone who runs those kind of classes, me included at the time, was going, it's the worst environment you could possibly put a dog and an owner in and expect them to learn and absorb and be able to calmly meet another dog or calmly meet another person. It's just full of chaos generally. Even a well-run puppy class, which I would hold my hands up and say, I think mine were pretty well run, still like chaotic sometimes, because that's the nature of chucking a load of people and dogs in together that don't know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. So like, really, when we're going, oh, we've had an inquiry because somebody wants to socialise, so I need to put a puppy class on, what actually are they going to get out of it anyway, even if it's the most well-run class in the world? Because how do they then transfer that skill that they're learning in that room where everybody is there for the same reasons, everybody likes dogs, everybody wants to socialise their puppy, and then you go out in the wide world and try and do the same thing? It's not going to work. So, I mean, I would challenge anybody to be out there going like, oh no, I think it's the best way to do it. I mean, great, fill your boots, but I disagree.
Yeah, it's I'm thinking just transferring it into different examples as well. So I think arguably that price point bit could come up on a lot of things as well. Like that's what the person is saying. So let's like it, I don't know, like grooming, for example. I've heard people say, oh, or even vets, like, oh God, don't go to that vets or that groomers because they're quite expensive. Inverted commas. Your opinion. It's not everybody's. Subjective. For that like 35 quid or something you'll get at that groomers, it's not worth it, go to this one. But again, it's like, well, what are you after? What is that groomer offering? What's the service offering? What's the outcome that somebody is buying on that?
Who were we talking to the other day about? Oh, it was Bish, wasn't it, at the retreat, saying about how much that groomer was. Was it her?
Yes.
And she was saying about there was a groomer that's always booked out. There's got a waiting list as long as your arm. And she charges way more than everybody else.
Yeah, wasn't it like €85 or something?
Something like that. She lives in Vienna, doesn't she? Yeah. So it's something like that. And everyone else is like, what, 35 or something. But that place is always booked out and it's the best groom around. So therefore, that's why people go.
Yeah.
It's a really great service, really great outcome. Dog comes out looking amazing. Great experience.
Yeah. Because I always thought about this, because like with me owning the Huskies, if I genuinely found a groomer out there that could position it in an outcome-based way of, when it comes to blowing your coat season, like, we will take the dogs, we will look after them, we will take as long, like if it took a day to do it in like that stress-free environment, stress-free environment whereby, you know, we get to really blow the coat properly and get as much out as possible. And that was going to be over a 6-week period with several check-ins and top-ups and stuff. I'd be like, I'm in. I'm totally in. Because every time I've booked them in for a groom to help me during that season, I'm like, they look better for it, but I'm still like, it doesn't do the job. It doesn't fulfill the service. And then that's when your brain goes, oh, because you're selling me an hourly rate, essentially, well, I'm not getting a lot for that hour. And that's when your brain starts to go, so that means I'd need to buy several hours in order to get the outcome. I'm like, just sell it me as a bloody package and I'm in. If you told me that was going to be like, I don't know, like £900 or something for the two of them, but that saw me through 3 months, I'm like, I'm in. Because I can see the outcome. I can't see the outcome of pay as you go.
But also, groomers are a great example of client retention, because a good groomer people will stay with for a long, long time, like other services, obviously vets and things like that. But it's one of those things where you go, well, that should be like absolutely packaged up in such a way whereby people are incentivized to stay with you and they have an ongoing, I don't want to say contract, but you know, like there's a real good value piece around why they should stay. So if we're talking that client retention bit again, following up, like there's a perfect example.
Yeah. This is where it comes back again to, you are not in the business of dogs. You are in the business of people. And you have to start, if you're not already doing it, really putting yourself in the person's shoes. What are they experiencing? What do they want support with? What outcomes are they looking for? Because this will all help you with that follow-up bit and that whole customer journey in how many times do you reach out to somebody? Because again, it's like it's ingrained in us, like hardwired to go, oh, well, if I've not heard back off someone, they clearly don't want it. Well, how do you know?
Yeah. And actually, our perfect example is us recently, where we were trying to get more clients in, trying to get more leads in, sorry. And we'd got a whole load of people sat there that are already on our database that we hadn't reached out to, or we hadn't reached out to for a while. So we started reaching out, and one of those people was literally like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you've called me. I really need some help. I'm in, and bought something from us that day. And that's happened actually subsequently as well. But there are people sat there right now that don't know what it is that you really do, because you're not really explaining it, or you haven't put it out there enough. Like, we're scared to put ourselves out and all that kind of stuff. So they've got no clue that what you've got could absolutely change their life and change their dog's life. And yeah, we're scared that because someone said no once, that they're going to say no again. And again, in our experience, there are people who've gone, I'm so glad you've reached out. When I spoke to you last time, I had this going on and it wasn't right. And now it is. And I really feel like it is the right time. Or I've heard more about you. I've learned more about, I've read your book. I've listened to the podcast, and yeah, I want to know more. Thanks. So it's it's your duty, it's your, like, in service of somebody, if you do that follow-up, if you do it in the right way, if you do it in a way whereby you're not telling somebody. And I think, again, that's what we fall into as dog trainers, is telling somebody, we've got this new thing, it's going to be perfect for you. How do you know? Are you asking them the right questions to figure out if it's the right thing? Because that's where I would start, make sure those questions are good. And then you can talk about the thing you've got. But you can't assume that somebody wants it. And the more that you push something on people, they're probably going to back into a corner and go like, actually, I feel pressured here.
Yeah,
that's a bad follow-up.
Probably about it.
yeah, that's a bad follow-up. That is pushy. That is like icky.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that. And I think because that skill isn't crafted yet, like it's not there, they haven't practiced all the whys and wherefores, which is exactly why it's something we heavily go through on our coaching programs, because it is a skill and it is something you need to keep flexing as a muscle. Mm-hmm. You could easily see it as icky and pushy.
Oh yeah, I would say actually 80% of all of our coaching calls, both on the business basics and one-to-one, is sales.
Yeah.
And how to have these conversations.
And it just proves how often you need to revisit it, because you can't just do it once and know what you're doing. You have to keep doing it, have to keep practicing it, have to keep getting confident at it and knowing that your approach is having the right effect. And you only know from practicing it. That's the only way you know how to do it.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to circle back to then the first question or statement you were making about follow-up when we opened up this episode.
Yeah.
And I want you to explain how you felt around all of this, because I feel like over the lifetime of CBA, I have got a certain name for myself in terms of you're the salesperson. In fact, it's become a little bit of an in-house joke with our clients that Jo's the closer. I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. However, you are shit hot at sales. Like, you are really awesome at it. And you still feel like you're not the best. And when you first started switching to this sales process, like in your dog training business, there was a lot of mindset stuff around this, because there was that follow-up bit where I think I'm fair to say that there was a lot of resistance in going, well, no, because, all the stuff that we're saying we're hearing now, like, no, they're not getting back to me, then that's it, they don't want it. They clearly don't want it. They've basically said it, even though they haven't. So what would you say I don't feel like I can ask this in one succinct question, but essentially, like, what's your learnings? What mindset stuff did you work through? What epiphanies have you had?
I was thinking of me and how I might receive that information. And I was impressing those opinions that I'd heard about money from my parents, from people around me. And I was thinking, I believed in what I was selling. So going back to the dog training days, in the latter part of it, when I'd got, my services right and priced accordingly to what they should be, I believed in them. But there was still that feeling of like, nobody else around me is selling anything that high ticket.
You were going to say expensive then.
I was, and I stopped myself. But in that mindset of
but
like,
at that time, yeah,
like they're charging a lot less than me. Mm-hmm. And it was that still thing about, here's the price. Oh my God, am I actually presenting this to you? I'm waiting for that's what I'd be waiting for when someone sees it. And I think that was part of it. I wasn't putting myself in the position of the owner, of the human. I wasn't thinking about probably outcome stuff enough. And I will say that when I'd got better at it, because I had to, because you can't sell something that costs $997 to somebody that you don't believe is going to give them the outcome. Like, that's just fraud. That's just like, it's not something that anybody should do. It's lack of integrity. But I believed in it. But I was just like, it's still like a lot to expect somebody to envision and see that they can possibly have a dog that's very different at the end of it. And it wasn't until we formed CBA and we were selling our services in CBA that I actually started to fully understand that, because you know that thing where people say, can I have a one-off taster session? So you've got a program or a package and someone says, can we just do like a one-off session? And you're very tempted a lot of the time just to go, oh, okay, like I'll do that because I might lose this sale otherwise. And I think that I never did it in the dog training when I created the program, but there's that, oh God, I have to stay really strong with it to actually stop myself. In CBA, I was like, absolutely not. Like there is no way I would do that because I 100%, 1000% know that someone's not going to get out of it what they expect to, or they're probably never going to come back if they have a one-off session. It's not going to do the job. And so like, I was like, I get that now. I 1000% get that now. And it was then that I started to fully kind of put myself in the position of the person at the other end and go like, for us to truly change your journey and your path and your mindset, it needs to be this length of time and it needs to be us alongside you. And we got to be not at you, but, you know, we've got to be there and catching you when you try and fall and all that sort of stuff. So I think if I'd stayed in that dog training business for longer, I'd have wanted to work on that more, because I think I could have completely, like, again, 10x that business if I'd been able to have that mindset back then. And actually, I think I did a decent, okay job of doing it because I consistently brought people in.
Oh, yeah.
But can you imagine, like, what if I knew now, then what I know now? And I don't even feel like I know. I feel like I need more support with it now. So, yeah, I don't think it's a journey that ever ends.
No.
Getting that follow-up sales process right and fully putting yourself in the position of that owner, not even putting yourself in the position, because it's not about you. It's about understanding where they are, what they need, what they don't need, and almost like helping them see without persuasion, without telling them that they need the thing that you've got, by asking the right questions.
Yeah.
And that just is such a skill.
Yeah. It's same with anything though, isn't it? I think sometimes we are really, what's the word? I'm going to say selfish. It's not the word I was thinking of, but we are quite selfish and a bit egotistical to then go, oh, I've learnt this thing, I've got a result, fucking brilliant at it now, like, awesome. It's like, no, you've got to keep practicing it, you've got to keep finessing it, you've got to keep having these conversations, you've got to do all this stuff to keep growing and evolving and just practicing it. And I think it's being aware again, something we bang on about all the time. Think about who you are surrounding yourself with, like on a daily basis. It's really difficult to just cherry pick the people you want to be around that are going to motivate you, drive you, give you all of the golden nuggets, because life isn't, it's not that way. You've got, you know, your immediate friends, family, social media, all the stuff that will swamp your brain with the stories and thoughts that you've always thought you believed. Because, you know, we are brought up in a world where, I think you mentioned it earlier, that sales is perceived as icky and people will think things are expensive and people think things are cheap, and the stories we tell ourselves actually become our hard truths when they're not the truth at all. There's no factual evidence behind it. So when we're telling ourselves the story that people think we're expensive and people want puppy classes and people want XYZ, it's like, do they? Does every single person want it?
Yeah, because 9 times out of 10, and of course I ran classes for that many years, if I got a repeat, you know, people had been to me before and then came to me and went, and I'm like, I don't do the classes anymore. But of course they're going to ask for classes because that's what they're used to. Yeah. And there again is a fear of me going, oh, they're never going to buy the thing I've got now because it's way more than it used to be and it's totally different. They'd be like, once, you know, we'd had the chat, understood a bit more about what they want, they're like, oh my God, that sounds way better. Yeah, I'm in. And I would say that I've probably had, over the time I did like the programs, I probably had like 6 or 7 repeat clients, and they all bought in. And I'm like, see, they spent like 60 to 80 quid with me before, and now they've just spent £1,000 with me. And that's because of the value that they've seen in it.
Yeah.
And also they trust me and they know me and all that kind of stuff as well. But yeah, they know that I'm not going to put something shit out that isn't going to get them the result they want.
Yeah, yeah. So when you were doing the sales process then in the newer version of your business, how did you feel about the follow-up?
Wasn't that comfortable with doing it.
I need to clip this picture of your face right now. You can see the pain etched all over it.
Oh God, how long do you wait for a follow-up? How long could you give them? And then actually, when I look back now, the ones I felt icky about following up with is I knew I didn't do a very good job on the call. Because if I've left it to like, yeah, go speak to your partner, and I haven't locked in another call, or I haven't like involved the partner in the conversation and even talked about it, I'm like, that's on me. So therefore, I'm going to do a really shit job of following it up now, because I've done a really shit job of the call in the first place. So now I don't want to do it.
Good awareness.
But I didn't know how to rectify it at that time. Like my skills weren't good enough then to kind of pull it back and try and get them back having a conversation with me. I don't feel like I was that good at doing that then. I could do it now, but not then. That just goes to show, like, you can get by, but you can get really good at doing it if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it isn't to manipulate anybody. And this is the thing, right? So when we talk about, the word sales can make shivers go down people's spine. I know that, but it's like, it's so done with like integrity and love and service, and like, I'm sure there are lots of you listening to this that are like, I know that person needs what I've got to help their dog. You want it so badly. You want it because you care, because you're passionate, not because you're about to rinse somebody out of money that they're reluctant to spend. It's because you believe it from your like heart. And that's exactly how we feel in CBA. And that's why we won't let it go unless someone tells us literally go away, because we're like,
do it properly.
Fuck off and die.
Thank you.
Which we've never had. And we said that on that episode recently. Yeah, because the way we're talking to people and the way we're trying to understand and ask the right questions means they know that we're not doing it for any other reason. Hopefully you out there, if you've spoken to us before and you've kind of had a conversation with us, that will be what comes across.
Yeah. I think it's an important note as well to recognize when you are truly in service of somebody, it doesn't feel icky. No. And it shouldn't feel icky, and it shouldn't also feel like you're selling. So when you're having those big feelings about, oh my God, like you need this, you have to learn to take a step back as well and go like, it's not your job to persuade somebody.
No. That's the biggest bit we get wrong, is trying to persuade. Yeah. That's where all the tangibles come in.
Yeah. When you start trying to justify and anything that you do, regardless of price point, fucking hell, like I used to justify the crap out of a 35 quid session.
Oh yeah, same. Exactly the same.
I've done all this. I've got my accreditations. Don't go to those people. And like, when you look back on yourself and you realise how much you've grown, and I was like, what a fucking dickhead.
Oh yeah.
And almost like a horrible human being. The fact that I'm judging somebody else because I have been brought up in a world where I am told that accreditation and doing things is better than somebody else. Like, how dare I? Like, I'll say beat myself up. I don't beat myself up, but I'm aware of the growth that I've had over the years, and being able to recognize that I can go, do you know what? Shame on me for judging somebody else.
Yeah.
And shame on me for passing that judgment on to potential clients as well.
Yes. And also, whenever you talk about somebody like that, they're thinking like, So you obviously might talk about me like that.
Well, this
because
is
that's how it
yeah.
comes across, isn't it?
And it's hard because, you know, I totally appreciate it, because at those moments in my life, I was really passionate about it.
Yeah.
And
it comes from a place of passion and love.
And you want it for the right reasons. And, you know, I could swap out dog training methodology now for like being really passionate about wanting you to work really fucking hard on your business. But it's never my job to persuade. It's never my job to convince. It's never my job to justify anything. The person that you are speaking to with integrity has to see the value. It is your job to guide them through your system, essentially, to see whether or not you are the right person to help them and whether they are the right person for your business. And that's all it ever boils down to.
Yep.
The amount of sales conversations that I know over the years I have wasted, and I know these conversations are happening across the globe with other, again, like trainers specifically going, so what have you tried already?
Where have you been before?
Yeah, who have you done it with?
Who have you done it with?
I always use say it's like, I'm curious, who did you work with? And
Why
like,
does it matter?
Why does that matter?
Doesn't.
It's just, again, ego speaking, going, oh, I need to know whether or not I can do a better job, or do you train differently to how I train? And that's essentially what it boils down to.
Oh, it's another one that's been to that person who's not very good and I'm better.
Yeah.
But you're saying that in your head.
Yeah. Yeah. All the shit stuff. And yeah, when you can detach yourself from the outcome, and again, I think so many of us go into these sales conversations thinking, fucking hell, I just need to make a sale. I need some money in the bank. And I mean, from our point of view, like that's when you're not operating from a space of integrity.
No.
Because you shouldn't be taking on clients that are not a good fit. You shouldn't be taking on, and again, I think sometimes our brains go, oh, well, I wouldn't take on something that I can't handle. But inevitably, I think we all do at some point. Like if you're desperate for cash, I did it. Yeah. I'll be the first to put my hand up and say, I definitely took clients on that I didn't have the experience for. And there's an argument to say, well, when do you get the experience if you don't take it as well? But there is still that, okay, so how are you going to see it through? How are you going to work it through? How are you going to do all of this stuff? But being open and honest with yourself, with the potential client, and just coming from that space of genuinely trying to understand and go, where are you at right now? What are you looking for? What do you need? What is the biggest pain problem for you? What does life look like if you get this right? Can my product and service, can that actually help you get there? And if it can't, I'm not the right person for you.
Yeah. And actually, look at yourself. If you were walking into a car show, because car salesmen have this kind of reputation.
It always comes up, isn't it? If you think sales, it's like, it's car sales, salesman.
Yeah. But if you think about, if you walked into a car showroom and all they're talking about is this car's brilliant, that car's brilliant, this one's got this feature, that one's got that feature, and you kind of like, oh, okay, a bit overwhelmed by everything, but you know, whatever. And then if someone you walked into that same car sales room and someone said, hi, such and such, tell me about you. Tell me about what you need. Like, what do you need in a car? What's important to you? What features do you want? Oh, I want this, 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 this. I don't really care about that. Awesome. This is the car that we've got that would absolutely suit you. Like, how much better would that be? And that isn't someone trying to sell the thing. It's gone, I've listened to what you've said. I've heard your needs. I haven't just tried to sell you the latest thing that we've got in that I need to get rid of because I'm going to get more commission. That's it. And really, if someone lists off a load of things and you haven't got anything that meets that criteria, then you should say so. Actually, I don't think this is the right place for you. So there's another one down the road that might have the right car for you. And that takes a lot. And we've both given examples previously of, like recently on that episode we did a couple of episodes ago, will be the girl who was feeling physically sick at the thought of investing with us. And there's been a time in my dog training business where somebody wanted a 1-day service that was offering at the time as opposed to a 3-month service. And I said no, because that is not going to get you the result you want. And so from operating that place of integrity and, you know, like just real truth in what you do, it's like, no, I'm not going to take you on. As much as that 500 quid would be great in my pocket right now, no. And I'm good with it because I know that you will be disappointed, and I'm putting myself in your position here and going, I wouldn't be happy with that if it was me. And again, try not to spin it into me, but I knew that dog needed more, and I knew that owner needed more, and I was like, no, not willing to do that.
Yeah.
That's hard. It's a hard place to, but so you feel so from it, but then you feel really good about it as well. You're like, no, that was the right thing.
Yeah,
I am a good human.
How many times have we all taken work on that we shouldn't have because we were in that get energy and we just needed to get the cash?
But there's an example, right? If we take the lady that wanted the 1 day versus the 3 months, what would have been really nice for me, which maybe I did it, maybe I don't, can't remember. It was a while ago now. No, it's not the right thing. And she was like, do you know, I really appreciate that. Thank you. That's how it was left. There's no reason to say, if we're talking follow-up, in a couple of months' time, I could have checked back in with her and gone, and again, not just to get the work, to go like, genuinely, how's everything going? Because I know you did inquire and it wasn't, it wasn't the right time then. How's it, going now? What's working well? What isn't? All those things that we would ask and go like, she might turn around and say, actually, yeah, I am ready now. Like, I'll invest now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a good example of that follow-up. And I think this is where that follow-up, you have to be purposeful with it.
Yeah.
So like, essentially, I'm very aware sometimes that it can come across as a little bit heart of stone, as you have referred to it before. But you have to be mindful that when you are operating from a business owner point of view, you are always essentially looking to qualify or disqualify people in your pipeline. And by that, I mean, everybody in your world, are they going to buy from you at some point or are they not? It's as simple as that.
Yep.
And we definitely overcomplicate it where we put a lot of heart and energy and soul into, and again, this is where that stone-like bit possibly comes across, but you can't operate a business by giving everything to everybody. It is not possible. So you could be on the phone for days on end speaking to people. I know because we've had people tell us that some of their discovery calls are lasting up to 90 minutes in some cases. I'm like, for what purpose? That, like, from a business perspective, that's 90 minutes of your time that could have been given to somebody else and you still didn't get any work off of it. Or even if you did get work off of it, was it worth it for 50 quid? Because you've already spent 90 minutes of it. And then you've got to travel to the appointment, presumably. Then do your thing. Then
even if it's
quid.
On a phone call or it's online, like, still your time.
It's like there's several hours involved to get that 50 quid. Like, it's not worth it. So, however, I appreciate it could be spinning away going like, oh yeah, but for that person, like, it's helped them, it's done this. I was like, and I get that. And this is where we go down the thought process of ensuring your business model is operating enough to pay the business running, to pay your bills, to allow you to eat, have a roof over your head, like, have your needs met so that you are operating from your best version of yourself to give as much out as possible. Because if the business is working smoothly and it's generating cash flow, you can do more to support people that maybe genuinely can't afford your services and genuinely can't, like, ever get involved. But then you create different products and services and you're able to do things like what we're doing now with this podcast. Like, it's a free podcast. We wouldn't be able to do this if the business wasn't generating cash, because who's going to pay for it? Like, it just doesn't happen. And I think we have to get ourselves into that headspace of, like, we are a business. When you work with dogs, you are still a business owner. You have to come from that place of service and integrity, and you have to look at people as people. You have to also look at people as going like, are you in or are you out? If you're in, brilliant. I will spend so much time serving you in the follow-up, not by giving you loads of help and support, but serving you in a way to go, I'm here. How does this service help you? If this service that I've got is going to support you, I will keep following you up until you say that actually, no, I'm out. I'm like, brilliant. I'll take you out of the system and I won't contact you again. That's fine. Like, if anything, brilliant, because you're out of my way. And I've heard people say this, and I know some of our clients have said this, that why can't people just tell you no if they're not interested in it? It's like, well, again, the harsh reality is do the reflective work. Like you've identified when you were doing some of those calls. Okay, maybe the call didn't go so well. Maybe you didn't operate at your best version of yourself. Were you in get energy? What could you have done differently to have a different outcome? And then secondly, like, well, how many times have you followed up? I would say we've followed up minimum in some cases, like 20 odd times with people. Mm-hmm. And when you look through the WhatsApp chats or the messengers in your, all of that, it's literally like, Joe. Oh, person came back.
Yeah.
Little back and forth chat, silence. Joe. And I could scroll like 5-6 scroll worthies. And then suddenly they're on a call and then suddenly they're like, actually, yeah, I'm ready.
Yep. And that's happened very recently.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, looking at that, you go, fucking hell, Joe, like you've reached out about 20 times and they've just ignored you. Well, yeah, but they haven't told me to fuck off and die. So they're still in.
Yeah. And it's a bit like looking at an email list and going like, well, they're opening the emails. They've never replied. They've never bought anything, but they're there watching and consuming and haven't unsubscribed. So that's it. Mm-hmm. Like they're still interested.
Yeah.
And it's like me, like how many emails do we get every day from clothes, you know, like companies and all these things. And I'm like, I don't want to unsubscribe because I'll forget about you. And when I do need the thing that you've got for me, I'll forget you exist. So when I keep you there, you're a little bit annoying and I keep deleting the emails, but I know that one day I'll need you. And that might be exactly what people are doing.
Oh, yeah.
It's not quite right now, but I don't want to like eradicate you completely. And you never know when that's going to be that they're like, perfect. That's what I need. Or now is the right time.
Yeah. I like it. I feel like we should wrap up here.
Yeah, should we? How long have we been going?
Don't know.
Yeah, I feel like we should.
On that note.
Ryan's nodding. Yes. We must have missed the finger thing. Yeah.
Oh, you God. The finger thing. Right, on that note, everyone. Bye-bye.